And we're live. What just happened there, by the way? Brilliant night and stuff. Brilliant. I've lost my voice on a Tuesday night. Brilliant, but I don't care. Graham, how do you sum up that, mate?
I don't think I can. I'm an emotional wreck. Like I said before I came on air, that me and my laddie were jumping up and down the place after that. Could not believe it. I don't know if went through every single emotion today. The start, what I wanted, getting that first goal, McTominay, Doak gets injured and you think, oh no, we've lost that out ball. And it was just constant all the way through the game. It's like, will we, won't we, will we, won't we? And that last few minutes felt like a lifetime. When Tierney scored that goal to make it 3-2, you think, that's it. Now blow the whistle. And it just kept going and going and going. What a finish from Kenny McLean. Honestly, I think we said it before the show. You'd love to be at Hampden if we won. What a night that is going to be in Glasgow. That was absolutely unbelievable. Oh, man, I don't know what to say. I'm buzzing. I'm so buzzing.
Well, I must have go with Kenny McLean, mate, because I was shouting at him to take it the corner flag. And then what do I know?
I mean, what a finish. I mean, they actually said it during commentary. Shoot, the goalkeeper was off his line at the time. What, he nearly missed it. What a finish. Oh, what a way to wrap it up. Honestly, the celebrations were just incredible. Our first World Cup since 1998. It's just, what a night. It's the night we hoped it would be. Maybe not quite like that, but what a night.
I could see the numbers tuning into the show, Graham, and it's the first show we've done for ages. The numbers are going nuts. We're up to 66 live. Keep coming, guys, we're on until my voice gets better. So I don't know when that will be. It's Pancake Tuesday. But anyway, get your comments coming in. Strap yourself in, because we're going to see Donald Duck, not Donald Trump. There you go.
Oh man, honestly, I'm an emotional wreck. Honestly, I feel like every Scotland fan has been through the ringer tonight. But I tell you what, it makes it so much better when you've won. What a night, man!
I mean, I've done a review, like, but when we do these shows, we pick out the moments of the game. But I mean, I don't know about you. I don't want to talk about the game. I want to talk about Scotland going to the World Cup. But I mean, that's 2 games back to back. We've been involved in a kind of basketball game because it was Saturday night and tonight it was kind of end-to-end stuff. But I mean, the only down part of tonight was Ben Gavin Doak. I hope he's okay, but I think we lost a bit of something when he went off, Graham.
Yeah, I was concerned because he was the outball. He was a threat down that right-hand side. You know what he's got? He's got the pace. Great ball in from McTominay's goal. But after that, I did worry a little bit where the threat was coming from. And you can see that Denmark kind of thought, oh, he's off the park now. We can kind of control this now, which he did. But yeah, he was a massive, massive blow. And he looked devastated. I mean, he looked absolutely gutted. And I think pretty much most Scotland fans were as well. And I think it took Scotland a little bit of time to get used to him not being there. You know, shoveling Christie back out on the right, bringing Kenny McLean in the middle of the park. And it took a bit of time to get used to that. But, I mean, I have to talk about that opening goal from Scott McTominay. What a goal. I mean, You've probably seen quite a few good goals at Hampden before, but one like that and a game like that, the finish is incredible. It's a really good cross, but it is kind of behind them. It's an unbelievable, to even try that. They said it during the commentary, to even try that is incredible. What a finish that was.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I thought Scotland started on the front foot, Graham, you know, and, but up until that goal, Scotland took the charge of the game as well, you know. You could see from the first whistle, everybody was up for the game.
We said at the start in the previous show that we want to start the game well, starting the front foot, which we didn't do against Greece. And I did think we did that. The crowd were up for it. The players were up for it. And we started at the tempo I hoped we would. And to get that goal after, 4 minutes was such a good start. I know you've still got plenty of time left of the game, but it was exactly the start Scotland needed and wanted. You can ask for a better start than that. I think you said it before the previous show. Get an early goal, get the crowd on side, and that's what happened.
Yeah, no, exactly. If you're new to the channel, by the way, I think you can fit one live and only on 6 minutes. Brilliant. Subscribe to the Scottish Football Zone channel, and we'll be here for the games at the weekend as well. David is watching on YouTube. I don't know what he's referring to, Graham. He must have seen EastEnders or something like game. But yeah, it's brilliant. David Waldrop on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel again, Scottish Football Zone. I'm with Graham tonight. We're talking about Scotland qualifying, yes, from the World Cup. And I was at school back in 1988. That tells you how young and innocent I was.
I said it in the previous show. I was working, but I managed to get home and see the opening game. And as I said before, you just think, well, we're going to get to more of these, and it didn't happen. And now we are finally going back to a World Cup. It's incredible. Like I said, my son's 13. He's never seen Scotland at the World Cup, and now he's going to get to see us. It's just phenomenal. I couldn't be more delighted with that. It is such an incredible night. And all you've got to do is look at the reaction of the players and the crowd after the game. Everyone's buzzing. Everyone's jumping about. It is just a sensational night. I mean, Scotland never do things easy, though, do they? It couldn't be a comfortable victory. We have to go right to the 50 minutes to win it.
Only the Scotland way. As well, but I mean, as I was saying, good scat from Scotland at McTominay. What a goal! I think that was I think Tierney might be up there, McLean goal might be up there as well, maybe for the goal of the season as well. But I mean, they played well up until Gavin Dock get injured, and I look at so on Graham. I'll try and find out what kind of like happened, but I mean, you can tell he was in a lot of pain as well. I hope he's kind of like okay.
Yeah, it looked like he tried to block the ball, and it looked like he pulled his hamstring. And it did look quite a bad one because he tried to get up and he just couldn't. It looked really serious, and you can see how gutted he was. He knew the number of the game, he knew how big it was, but he just looked absolutely gutted. He did say during commentary it's a hamstring injury. Hopefully that's not too long, but it did look really painful, and it looked innocuous. He just goes to block the ball and he just pulls his hamstring. You know, sadly, these things happen, but he's still a young laddie. He's got a long future ahead of him. And do you know what? It'll make him feel better that Scotland have got to World Cup. That will make him feel a lot better after that.
Yeah, and we kind of spoke about it in our show as well, Graham, but we didn't realise how difficult it was because after Ben Gavin Dock got injured and get took off, we had to kind of like ride that storm a wee bit in terms of like we couldn't get out. And Craig Gordon, your man at Hearts, I mean, a big shout out to him because I mean he must have been the oldest guy in that stadium tonight as well, and he was pulling off some good saves in the first half as well.
Yeah, I mean, he made one save. It was offside, but he didn't know that at the time from Hoyland. But he's such an experienced goalkeeper. I think he just brings a belief to that back line. I mean, I don't think Craig Gordon could have believed that at his age he'd be playing in a World Cup qualifier and basically helping Scotland to get to the World Cup. It's an incredible achievement. When he had that double leg break, you think, oh, he's never going to come back. But what an achievement for him to be coming back. I mean, whether he'll be at the World Cup next season, I really hope so. It'd be incredible for him. But I just think he brings such a calmness to that back line and that belief in that back line. He's been a phenomenal servant for Hearts and for Scotland. And now he will get the chance to go to a World Cup at the ripe old age of 43. It's fantastic. There's so many great stories out there. It's just fantastic.
I think for me, Graham, Craig Gordon stands out because I remember, was it you? I can't remember sharing a photo on Craig Gordon when they got injured up at, was it Dundee United a few seasons ago?
Yeah,
and you thought, well, that's maybe his career over. But I mean, he bounced back and obviously it's you know how like when you go to a concert, Graham, and they have about 5 kind of like farewell tours. Craig Craig Gordon's maybe a great 7 of them because he came on against, who was it, Poland or something in the sling, I can't remember.
I think it was Finland, actually.
Finland, and they got a standing ovation because it was his last game. However, he's still on. But yeah, there's a story in itself there about Craig Gordon. Ethan's here.
Yes, I've made it back from the pub. A very
You've made it back alive. That's good.
Celebratory pub. No, I'm sure you guys have covered it all. But no, just unbelievable. What a game of football from a neutral point of view. What a game of football from a Scotland fan point of view. Just brilliant, from McTominay's goal to the lows. And I just always, I don't know why, but I just always had belief in those players. Even when it was at 1 each, I thought we would get a goal. Even when it was 2 each, I thought we would get a goal. And I know I've been one to criticise Steve Clarke, but I think we've got to say that it's no coincidence that these players keep turning up these results. And tonight, they just kept going, and the goals were excellent. I mean, they were having their own competition for best goal of the night, but Scott McTominay's, I think, obviously the outstanding goal. I mean, that'll go down as a Puskas nominee for the stage of the game, and just excellent. And what a feeling to finally, as a young Scotland fan, be going to a World Cup. And I just dream now of the summer coming next year and who we will get. I don't care who we get. Hopefully we get some of the big dogs, because as a young Scotland fan, as I mentioned, these don't come around too often. I'm just glad we're there.
Ethan, I was just saying to Michael, I've got a 13-year-old son, and he's never seen a World Cup before, and he was with me tonight. He was absolutely buzzing. What was the atmosphere like in that pub? Because see, in my house, it was absolutely going mental, mate.
No, it was the exact same in the pub, and I think I mentioned it on the pre-show with you guys that there's some of my friends who aren't too big on international football. They're more club over country, and obviously that's understandable. I think most people are, but even some of the ones who aren't really caring about international football getting behind Scotland and celebrating some ridiculously good moments. The Kenny McLean, just ridiculous. The composure from him.
Yeah.
To even try it from there, be easy. I think it was a 3v2 or a 3v1 at the back, and he just sees Schmeichel off his line. That's an excellent finish. And no, credit to all the players, credit to Steve Clarke. He made the substitutions at the right time. That's been one of my criticisms of him, that he waits too long. But he got Shankland and Adams on early around the hour mark, and obviously Lawrence Shankland, terrible defending, I've got to say, from Denmark from the corner, but we don't care. And Shankland, we spoke about it, he's the natural finisher in that squad. He's the one who knows where the back of the net is. He was in the right place at the right time, and yeah, you might say it's a tap in, but he was the player that was had that natural instinct in front of goal. And what a moment. And even then, you thought that was going to be Scotland's night, and then obviously Dorgu got the equaliser, a really nice finish from him. He didn't celebrate like he had put Denmark to a World Cup, but obviously he didn't, because we go on to get those 2 goals. Kieran Tierney's was a brilliant strike as well, and it'll be tough for Kasper Schmeichel going back to Celtic with all the Scotland players probably giving him stick. And I don't think, really, maybe apart from Shankland's goal, although I think Denmark collectively have got to take a look at themselves for the defender from that corner, but I don't think he could have done anything about any of the other goals, really. They were just brilliant finishes.
It's crazy to think that Lawrence Shankland must have thought he'd take us to World Cup, then there's 3 more goals after that. What a night, man.
I mean, how many times you must be sick of me saying this, guys, but how many times have I seen Arthur on the show, even after every Scotland game, get Shankland in there, and I still moan when they come on with 8 minutes to go, and they come on tonight and scored not the winning goal, but one of the goals.
Yeah, exactly that. And you're just crying out for him, because we know as Scottish football fans watching the league that for years now Shankland's been, I know he had that sort of off-season at Hearts, as Graham will know about, but in terms of finishing and being in the right place to score goals, he's the best out of those. And I think he really, probably his performance puts, not his overall performance, but his goal puts him in a really good place to fight for a starting place at the tournament. Crazy to say. I know that we predicted 2-1 on the night, but I'm sure everybody was sceptical going into this game, and just I can't believe the players dug it out, because 1-1 when Hoyland gets that, which I will say is a bit of a dubious penalty, because I think it was really soft. I know probably by the rules inside the box and whatever, and then maybe the referee levels it up because I think it was a very soft second yellow on Christensen, to say the least. But the players just kept going, and it's so difficult as a player when you've been on the back foot, you've been defending the whole game after Scott McTominay's goal, like Scotland were, to change the emphasis and go and get goals, and that's exactly what they did. And yeah, I just can't believe we're there. It's a feeling that I don't think I've ever had in my years of supporting both club and country. Getting to a World Cup, we'll be there with the big names and bring them on. I don't care who we face in the group, because I just want to make it a memorable experience, and hopefully this is the norm for Scotland going forward. And hopefully we can compete in the group stages, although it's a big task with some of the names we could be faced against.
Ethan, I don't know about you, but I was putting in a group chat just after Ben Doak went off. I don't know where the outball's coming from. That was a massive blow when he went off. I think they said it during commentary as a hamstring injury, but that was a big, big blow when Ben Doak went off. Yeah,
it was, and it was always concerning when you see the player go down without really any contact with the ball. He was trying to stop the cross, and then you see him, I can't remember who it was. I think it was Ryan Christie that gave him the ball, and he just looked like he never wanted it, and then he cleared it up the line. He goes down, he comes off in the stretcher, and it's a really sad moment. Hopefully, fingers crossed, he'll be okay for the tournament, because he's made a massive contribution to us being there. Obviously, a brilliant cross for the first goal, but take nothing away from McTominay. That is just a goal that it's the best Scotland goal of all time. I think even Sir McFadden himself would say that after his goal in France. It was that good, and it's just, Scott McTominay's writing his own script at this point. He obviously scored the overhead kick, which won the Scudetto recently for Napoli, and he obviously made a massive contribution tonight. I didn't think he was in the game at all, really, apart from his goal. I thought some of the other midfielders done a lot more, but ultimately that's McTominay's job, is to score big goals for Scotland. That's what he done. One player who I thought was an absolute standout tonight, I don't know if you mentioned him, Lewis Ferguson. I thought he was absolutely immense. I've been one that's not been too high on him on recent Scotland performances. I feel like the game sometimes passes him by, but I thought he guarded the defence so well and broke up so much play, and I thought he was very good. But the whole Scotland team are obviously very good. To score 4 goals against this Denmark team, I don't know how we scored 4 goals, because on the balance of play, I think when Shankland put in his goal, it was maybe 2 attempts, something like that. You guys maybe will be able to tell me better, but we pushed after they got the red card, obviously, and just a really good game of football. And the neutrals must have been blessed watching Scotland over these last 2 games, because we've thrown up some ridiculous narratives and score lines, and I think we'll be an exciting team for neutrals to watch come the tournament.
Before Shankland scored, we'd had 1 shot on target, and the passing, I think at one point, I think maybe in the second half, I'm not sure, it was like 404 passes for Denmark and about 90 for Scotland. But you know what? It doesn't matter. We've won. It doesn't matter. Who cares?
I always say at the end of the game, guys, in the European games, like if team has like 15 shots at goal, and 15 passes, 2 corners, 3 throw-ins, 2 people ate pies in the stand, it doesn't really matter. Long as we win the game.
Yeah, exactly that. And
where is the statue for Steve Clarke getting put?
Yeah, for Steve. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got to put my hands up, because I will admit defeat on Steve Clarke. I've been really sceptical of him, and I've said that numerous times. I felt sort of not betrayed, obviously, but I felt really hurt when I was in Germany for the last 2 games of the group, and the way it went with just how poorly we played. And against Switzerland, we obviously played really well for the most part, but against Hungary, it was just a really sort of, I don't know, it just killed you as a Scotland fan. The chance was there, but we've got another chance, and this hasn't been easy. Everyone sort of doubted Scotland going into this campaign, me included, after the Nations League playoff against Greece, and obviously we looked at Denmark as the better team in the group, and they proved to be that with a points tally. But no, credit to Scotland and everyone involved for what they've done, because so many times it would have been easy to write them off tonight, and I imagine there was a few unfortunate fans that left the stadium when Scotland were losing, thinking that they weren't going to get that goal. But I always just had a feeling that they were going to get a goal, and I even called it. Not to seem like an expert or anything, but I called that Lawrence Shankland would get the goal he did, and he obviously came on to score. And I'm just glad that Steve Clarke made those substitutions, because I thought him and Adams really made a big contribution to Scotland in a difficult point in the match. And I'm lost for words, really. I know I've spoke a lot, but just to sum it up, I just can't believe we're actually going to a World Cup.
I've got to say hello to my number one producer for fixing me out there, Alex, because we had some technical problems at the beginning, but he's here to save the day. It's Alex. So
Yes.
All right, guys. Are we all good? Absolutely buzzing.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. Unbelievable. I'm the ultimate pessimist, especially when it comes to Scotland. It's really, really, I'm really down on Scotland quite a lot. And Graham, I saw just before I came on there, he made that point about Ben Doak. When he came off, I was a bit concerned because I thought we wouldn't have an outlet. And then obviously we go in front again. I couldn't believe it. And then Denmark pulled it back. Denmark pulled it back, and I thought, oh no, this is classic Scotland. Classic Scotland. And then Kieran Tierney comes up with an absolutely beautiful goal. And then obviously Kenny McLean from basically the halfway line. And three of the I think those are three of the best goals I've ever seen in football in one game. And for them all to come for Scotland. And I saw Ethan talking about going to the World Cup, and obviously I think me and Ethan we weren't even born the last time Scotland were in a World Cup, so it's an absolutely fantastic moment. And yeah, I'm a bit of a loss for words as well. I'm loving every minute of it, and yeah, absolutely fantastic from Scotland overall. I mean, you could see Denmark had better quality even when they were down to 10 men. They had a lot of the ball. They obviously pulled it back. They were making opportunities. I think at one point in the game, it was I think when it was 1 each or 1-0, Scott McTominay's own goal was the only attempt Scotland had in the whole game. And you were thinking it was a real backs to the wall performance. We're going to need to hold out. And when it goes to 2 each, you think, are we going to have enough? But we did. And it's absolutely fantastic. The stars aligned for Scotland tonight. And that's not something I've had the pleasure of saying much in my life. So absolutely buzzing.
Yeah, Graham, we sat through Betty Vokes, brilliant manager that was, and stuff like that. But this makes up for it all, baby. As you can tell, I've kind of lost my voice tonight. A lot of people might be happy with me and me saying that, but listen, I don't care.
Many managers have tried and failed to get Scotland to World Cup, and Steve Clarke, for all his critics, has managed to do it. I mean, this is just, I said it before, this is just a phenomenal night. Like I said, my laddie was sitting with me at 13 years old, and he was absolutely buzzing, jumping up and down the place like I was, desperate for that final whistle to go. It's one of these nights. When we did the preview show, we said, it doesn't matter how we do it, just win. I don't think anyone expected a 4-2 win. It was just an unbelievable night. And I don't know if it was Michael or Ethan that said it. When Kenny McLean gets that ball, you just think, get it in the corner. Just stick it in the corner.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at Patrick Schick, what he did for Czech Republic against Scotland, and now Kenny McLean's just outdone that. What an unbelievable night. I mean, as much as I love being on the show with you guys, I really wish I was at Hampden, because the celebrations are going to be absolutely immense.
Yeah, well, it's a funny story that me and my mates were scrambling for last minute tickets, and we thought we'd found someone for 40 quid But then they sent like a dodgy PayPal or something, and we were like, nah, we're not gonna do it. And then there was tickets going for 80, and we're like, no, we're not paying that. But now I wish I paid it. As much as I like being on the show with you guys, like you said, Graham, I wish I paid the 80 quid, and I wish I was at Hampden tonight. But you know, I did end up in my local pub with my mates, which was quite good. The atmosphere in the pub was really good as well. And yeah, it was just a fantastic moment. Everyone sort of, it's just good, isn't it, when it's like in a public place and then everyone's just going absolutely mental. Nobody cares about like disrupting anyone or, you know, looking a bit silly. People are jumping out their seats and stuff like that because, you know, it's a historical moment for Scotland. And you know, when it gets closer to the time, we'll obviously talk about how we want to do in the tournament. But right now, I'm just happy we've made it because, yeah, first time in my life that I've seen Scotland in a World Cup, the best footballing tournament in the world. It's something I enjoy watching every time it comes around. And now this time, I'll be able to see Scotland playing a few games at least.
One of my son's friends, who's not a big football fan, messaged my son at the end of the game, and all he put was, "I am emotional." That just shows how big this is. It's massive.
Yeah,
no,
and
I mean, no, on you go.
I was just going to say, sorry, Michael, in a country with some of the thickest club allegiances in the world, I think everyone comes together on a night like this just to celebrate the achievements of the country and the boys who grew up playing football that obviously I'm sure none of us had the sort of the chance or were even close to being on the pitch playing for Scotland. But they're just people like us that wanted to get Scotland to a World Cup, and that's what they've done tonight. And they'll go down in history. And I think I am somebody who would always sort of say club over country, of course, because club is something that's a lot more regular and it's a lot more sort of tribalistic. But this is the best moment I've ever experienced in football, and I don't think anything really comes close to it with how unsuccessful Scotland have been in my lifetime of getting to World Cups. And taken away from all of that, I just thought it was an excellent game of football. Just you couldn't have wrote the script better with Scott McTominay's goal, with how dominant Denmark were for almost all of the match, the red cards, the goals Scotland scored, just excellent. And I'm just glad we're there, and hopefully the players can kick on and do well at the World Cup and let it be one to remember for the older fans that have seen other World Cups. But no, I'm just glad we're there in the first place.
Graham's kind of like two World Cups in front of me, so there you go. But no, that's what I was about to say, Ethan. Like, you know, this is totally different to like club football. I know we are like Celtic, Rangers, Hearts, Hibs, Aberdeen fans here, but I mean, this feels something special because like I was listening to something the other day, and football actually brings the whole nation together. Like, no matter if you're, you know, black, white, different ethnicity, you know, like, you know, it doesn't matter your background. Football brings people together. And guess what you were saying, Graham, about your son's pal, you know, it brings more people together, you know, and inspire the next generation. And I know that we use that word too many times in our lifetime, but I think it does as well, you know. I mean, you know, look what you can achieve, you know.
I mean, I remember was it the first Euros we were at, and there was like Scotland flags out the windows where I live. Like, even folk that weren't really football fans, they had the Scotland flags out. You had the cars with the Scotland flags on. It's just an incredible occasion, but the World Cup is so much bigger. You know, this is the pinnacle for, I think, an international player. You want to get to World Cup. And now a lot of these players who've never played in one before are going to get the chance to do it. A lot of fans who might have never seen it before are going to get the chance to experience it. It's such an incredible occasion. I mean, tonight, honestly, is just, I said it before I came on the show, I was an emotional wreck tonight. It was just incredible. I could not be happier. Yes, I'm a Hearts fan, but tonight I was a Scotland fan. And tonight just means so much. And I do just wonder, though, if Stockport County could have won that game tonight. I just wondered about that.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. Yep. No, yeah, that's the most funniest thing you said, Graham, in all the years you've been on the show.
Thanks,
Well
mate.
done,
Take
mate.
it. I'll take it.
Well, I mean, if it means you coming on the show and being funny on the Tuesday night, we'll do all our shows on the Tuesday night. You forget Friday, but no, I mean, it puts a smile on people's faces as well. Not because they're on with me and you, Graham, because we're veterans now of this show, but like, you know, it makes you feel good about football and about kind of like life in general as well, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. It's you know, it puts a spring in your step. Like, just have that kind of like national kind of pride, because obviously we, you know, as we've discussed and over the years, and as we've alluded to a couple of times tonight, it's not, you know, obviously you always support your country, but it's not been the you know, the most prideful thing to be a Scotland fan over the past 3 decades or so. So qualifying for the World Cup, and I remember, I can't remember who did the interview, but my dad told me about an interview a Denmark player did, saying, well, you know, going to Hampden in the last game is not favourable for us. Because they would have rather to have it out the road early, because you know, it's obviously they lost the last time they were at Hampden, and you know, it's a tough game for anyone to come to. I mean, you know, we've you know, beaten Spain in recent years as well. We've kind of, you know, as much as, you know, Celtic Park and Ibrox are viewed as sort of feared stadiums in Europe, I think Hampden over the past few years has you know, cultivated that sort of reputation, and you know, I think it proved it tonight. I mean, you know, the chaotic nature of being a Scotland fan and being a Scotland team as well, you know, got the you know, it got it over the line, and you could see why Denmark would have been hesitant to come to Hampden tonight, because, you know, in the pub, you know, the sound isn't super up on the TV, but see, I've watched the goals back on my phone. See the noise, especially like for the fourth one. Oh my God, what an atmosphere tonight at Hampden.
Yeah, and I think the players feeded off that straight away. That's probably the 10 minutes that Scotland got the goal and started. They were pressing, they were all over Denmark, and it's stuff we haven't seen from Scotland for years, I don't think, with how well they played to start the match. And obviously McTominay scores a goal that is, you can't replicate something like that, but just how they started the game and how up for it the players were. They were feeding off the energy by the crowd, and sometimes it's something like that you need to really change how people feel about the national team. And I know Alex came on and he said he's always been sceptical about the national team, but a performance and result like that to end a campaign, when we went into the last Euros, although we qualified pretty early and we knew after the results against Spain and Norway away that we would be there, we kind of slugged towards the end of the campaign, where is this, we've ended it in the best manner possible, and we're going to carry a lot of confidence into the games in the group stage. Obviously, Scotland aren't favourites to do anything, but we can be confident in ourselves. We know we've got players who can turn up in big moments. We know that, although I've been a big criticiser of them, we've got a manager who knows how to manipulate those players to pull out the best performances. And it was a similar story, actually, with Germany last night. They obviously favourites to qualify for every tournament, but although they were in the same situation as Denmark tonight, but last night against Slovakia, they just needed a draw. They really went for it, and they turned up and they played with an urgency that the German fans hadn't seen, and they'll carry that into the tournament now. I think they beat Slovakia 6-0 or something like that. And obviously, Scotland aren't going to beat anybody like Denmark 6-0, but it's the same kind of thing. We've ended the qualifying campaign in an excellent fashion, and now we can carry a lot of confidence into the tournament. We've got so many players who will be riding the highs, and just hoping everyone's
Yeah, that's just on that earlier point as well about players who are injured and players who will be playing to get into this tournament. That's a major positive as well. The fact that we've qualified, outright through the group. We've got time to sort of get players back as well, but also we've got time for players to make a case for themselves. We've got times for new players to sort of come out of the woodwork and go, oh, look at me. Although Steve Clarke isn't the biggest fan of picking new players, although I don't really want to criticise him tonight of all nights. But he's that is a major positive with it tonight. The fact we've automatically qualified, and we've got plenty of time to sort of look at that squad and see what's happening.
I can't help thinking back to Saturday and that Belarus game, because if that doesn't happen, not in this position. I mean, we have got a lot of luck in this, but that's what you need. In these kind of tournaments, you need that kind of luck, and we certainly got that. Because if Belarus don't get that draw, tonight doesn't happen. Honestly, we are carrying a lot of luck, but I will take it all day long. It's brilliant.
Yeah, exactly that. And obviously, I think the performances haven't been the best for most of the campaign. I think nobody could disagree with that, but ultimately we're there, and I think that's what everyone cares about. And is that a nation like Scotland who haven't been to a World Cup in nearly 3 decades? This doesn't matter. We're there, and I think by any means necessary would have been the message to the players. And I don't think anyone would have been complaining had we went through the campaign like how we did. And not just a brilliant end, because Denmark are a really top team, and we'll have to see how they fare now in the playoffs, watching from a luxurious position.
Yeah, absolutely. Just on that Belarus game as well, though, on Saturday night, it gave us a lifeline, but also I couldn't help think and look at it and go, of course, the night that Denmark draw to Belarus, Scotland lose, and that just it fed into the pessimistic feeling of me. It just fed into it, and I thought, now we absolutely have to beat them now. And I just don't know. I just didn't know if we could, based on recent performances. If you think back to the last international break, how negative we all were, because it was quite a poor. Although we did get the win over Greece and the win over Belarus, the performances were not good. The Greece result was, probably one of the biggest smash and grabs I've ever seen. In the Belarus game, we're hanging on by a thread of a team who were ranked so low. However, maybe after the Denmark result on Saturday, maybe they're a team that are starting to get their act together a little bit and finding a way to play, which, fair enough to them. Nice to see for them. But yeah, after that result, the combination of results on Saturday night, I was like, oh God, how have we done this? And we absolutely had to win. But like we've seen tonight, we did do it. And yeah, back to that feeling of just absolutely lost for words. And you mentioned earlier, you're thinking Kenny McLean, just get it to the corner. I think Shea Adams was on the outside of him. I'm thinking, just play him and run it to the corner, and he has a goal. And it went in. It was almost like, see, for the first goal and the last goal, it was almost like a delayed reaction, because I was almost in disbelief that both of those goals of that caliber could actually go in. You know what I mean? Especially the first one, I was like, no way. I was like, it took me a while to register that the ball had hit the back of the net, and I was like, I was absolutely buzzing after that. But yeah, just lost for words again. Absolutely fantastic night, and yeah, hopefully we can all enjoy this as a nation for the time being before we start thinking about how we'll fare in the World Cup. Because obviously you want to go there and make a showing and make a bit of history and get out of a group for the first time. But right now, I think we should just enjoy, the journey there, and the fact that we've won tonight, and like I said earlier, seen 3 of the best goals I've ever seen.
Graham, can you remember the show we done ages ago? And basically, it's opposite. Remember the game against Republic of Ireland, and we came on here, and I think we get beat. Was it 3-0, 2-0? And we're never going to qualify. We're hopeless. And then fast forward in 5 years later, we're going to the World Cup.
I mean, it's obviously in football, you take the rough with the smooth. You're going to have bad moments and you're going to have good moments. Tonight is an absolute massive high. Like, everyone's just absolutely buzzing. As I said, even folk that aren't in football, they're buzzing. They're just absolutely. I remember coming on that show absolutely furious at that Ireland game. Even the Northern Ireland game I got beat. Even the Northern Ireland game I got beat in that friendly 1-0 is like, what are we doing here? This is just what an achievement this is for Steve Clarke, who gets a lot of criticism, and I do get it. But he's now got us to 2 Euros and the World Cup. He's our most successful manager, I think, in Scottish football, in the Scottish manager terms. What a job he's done. And I think I have to as well give him credit. And I think you might have mentioned this in one of the group chats, Michael. Fair play to him, because he did make the changes early. We spoke about this in the pre-show, that if we are losing, he has to make the changes early. And he did that. He brought on Adams and Dykes in the 63rd minute. So he did make the changes early, and it made a difference. Yes, when they go to 10 men, it definitely helps. And I will admit, I didn't quite share Ethan's enthusiasm when he said that he still thought Scotland would win. When it was 2-2 with 10 minutes to go and we were passing the ball back, I was worried because I thought, how are we going to score here? But it turns out Ethan was right. Just honestly, what a night, man. I can't believe it. I'm so buzzing.
Yeah, remember you had the thumb thing, by the way. The thumb thing is the subscribe button. But that will do, mate. Anything goes on the Tuesday night now. Ethan, I'm going to read this stat out to you again in the pre-show, right? Denmark has never won in Scotland for 3 games. Now make it 4. Brilliant.
Yeah, exactly that. And just crazy, because even though I think I mentioned this already, we predicted Scotland. I think all of us on the pre-show predicted Scotland to win 2-1. Whether we all actually thought in our heads that was going to be the case was another question. But I don't think anyone could have predicted what transpired tonight. And it was, I think Alex mentioned it, it was for almost all of the goals, it was pinch me moments, because you just didn't believe that Scotland were going to go again and they were going to get that goal, and they just did, and they kept going. And you can't give enough credit to the players on the night, because it would have been so easy to sort of go into themselves and hide, especially when Denmark equalised twice. But they kept going. The crowd done well, because there was a lot of backs to the wall. Denmark had a lot of the ball. Even when they had 10 men, they looked like the team who were going to go and get the goals needed. But Scotland kept going, and they got those massive goals. And I'm lost for words. I really am, because it's just
Celtic training is going to be a bit awkward, isn't it?
Yeah,
I said that with Kasper Schmeichel, obviously. A few of the Celtic, well, Kieran Tierney especially, getting the better off. I think I heard someone in the pub saying he should have saved that, but I don't know if he could really have done anything about it. I think it was just a really good strike, and yeah.
You know what I loved about Kasper Schmeichel tonight? It was for Kenny McLean's goal. You just see the angle of like behind Kenny McLean, where you see him backtracking, and then he sort of has like kind of like that oh crap moment when it's like coming over him, and he starts like sprinting back the way. Maybe that's a bit cruel towards Kasper Schmeichel, but you just kind of you saw that where that thing where he's looking at it and he's going, oh God, this is going in, and he starts trying to sprint to get back to it, but it was too late by that point. Do you know what's quite funny though? You were talking about predictions there. My mate actually had a bet on 3-2, so he was fuming when the fourth goal went in because I think he stood to win 200 quid or something off of it. Please gamble responsibly, of course. But you know, he was fuming while the rest of the pub were jumping up and down. It was quite funny.
See the accuracy of that playing goals. So see if you watch it again. I was watching it a couple of times. When you watch it, it looks like it's going out. It looks like it's going wide, and it just kind of bends back in at the last minute. It is unbelievable strike.
Yeah, fantastic finish. It reminded me actually of. I hate to always take it back to Rangers, but it reminded me of Kamar Roof's goal against Standard Liège, where you're thinking, yeah, no, but you're thinking, is he just like lumping it forward, and then you realise he's having a real go, and it just sails in, and it's absolutely, you know, it's magnificent. But yeah, I'll keep the Rangers talk out of it for the rest of the evening, because obviously it's all about Scotland tonight. But that is what it reminded me of, Kenny McLean's goal. So I just thought I'd try and listen.
No, it's okay. It's what we call in the West of Scotland a bit of banter. Yeah, but I mean, yeah, that's right, Alex. But and saying that, I can always remember as well, Graham, that you know, when Scotland were playing very poorly, right, and they were getting beat by a stupid goal that came off of somebody's backside or something like that. We wanted like the Premiership to come back very quickly. I know that you want the Premiership to come back quickly because you think Hearts are going to win the league on Saturday. But in all seriousness, you want international football to continue now, and we've not got a window till, what is it, March now?
Yeah, you do now. I mean, honestly, it feels like the whole nation now is behind Scotland. And I think when that World Cup comes around, it's going to be absolutely incredible. I mean, the atmosphere in America and stuff is going to be just sensational. You need Scotland fans there. I mean, America's not going to see anything like this. Scotland fans turning up with kilts and stuff on, it's going to be amazing. But, I mean, yes, as much as I love club football, and I'm glad to have Hearts back this weekend, it's one of these nights that you're kind of lost for words. You're thinking, how have we done that? We've actually just got to the World Cup. Like, I think the guys have said that. Like, there's so many players in that squad that, like Andy Robertson, like Craig Gordon, they're going to play their first World Cup. It's just sensational. And what a night. I mean, I think most folk now are just, all I've seen on my Twitter page is just Scotland. Nobody's thinking about club football. And obviously that will change on Saturday, but it's just, I think if we're going into this, if after today we hadn't won, you'd be thinking, it's a bit doom and gloom. We've got to play 2 playoffs now. But that's changed. It's now World Cup. We're going. We're going to be there. We can just sit back and watch whoever else gets there. It's one of these nights you're not going to forget. I mean, my laddie will never forget this. He's going to see a World Cup. I'm never going to forget this. I'll see my second one. It's just, what a night. What an unbelievable night. And I keep on saying it. You have to give massive credit, as much as folk don't like the guy. You've got to give massive credit to Steve Clarke, because he's done it again. He's qualified.
Extended tournament.
Oh, come on.
I hate to be that guy, but all 3 tournaments he's qualified for have been extended in recent years. So
you don't need to mention that.
No, I'm kidding. It's you know, it's a moment that, you know, he's given me and a lot of younger supporters, and we'll remember it forever, because, you know, Scotland don't get to World Cups. You know,
we do now.
And yeah, aye, exactly. They do now. No, but in my lifetime, Scotland don't get to World Cup. Scotland don't really get the big wins. Obviously, we've had a few Euros appearances that have been bitterly disappointing, especially the most recent tournament, because I felt like it was a group that we could have made a go of. Obviously, you're playing the hosts, Germany, fantastic side, but Switzerland and Hungary are sides that I feel like we're not that far off. Even, you know, if you go player for player, I think we're better than them. and it was bitterly disappointing. But this moment will be one that will be with me for I think for the rest of my life. Scotland are in I can't believe I'm saying the sentence. Scotland are in a World Cup. Scotland will be playing in USA, Mexico, and Canada. In 2026, competing to get out of the groups. Hopefully as competitive. But yeah, it's unbelievable. And you know what, like World Cups has been one of the favourite things to watch, and over the years, especially the Qatar one, I think, even though there was a lot of issues around that politically, I think the games itself lives in a lot of people's memories, and the World Cup's always something you tune into, and now we get to tune in with an actual horse in the race. It's fantastic.
Yeah, and World Cups, I would agree with Alex. World Cups is, regardless of the national team not being great in the past, they're the thing you look forward to the most. I think they're the purest form of football, where you see players sitting up for their national team. And the best game I think I've ever watched as a neutral would probably be the World Cup final in Qatar between Argentina and France, just how that played out. And you look even at that tournament, teams like Morocco got to the semi-final, and some crazy things happen. I'm not saying Scotland are going to get to a semi-final, but
did you say Scotland were going to win the World Cup? Well, yeah, I'll take that.
Maybe. But no, we're just there, and that's the main thing. And we just need to enjoy this moment now, not think too much about the expectations for the tournament, because it is such an achievement to be there, and it should be a night that, and I think it will be a night that all Scottish football fans relish late into the night.
I cannot wait to see Scotland get beat by Cape Verde, who I don't even know who they are.
Well, they've got some good players. Big Gary Rodriguez, he's a good player. That's probably the only, and that Irish guy that they found out that he could play for Cape Verde through LinkedIn.
Shamrock Rovers central defender, yes. I know who you're on about, but no, I seen someone the other day, or it might have been today, even on Twitter, saying how much they would give for Scotland to have a moment like Republic of Ireland had the other night against Hungary. And obviously, their sort of win with Troy Parrott's hat-trick was to get them to the playoffs, and we've won up that tonight with getting a moment like that, with the goals we scored, with how late they were to get us to the actual tournament. And no, just excellent. You couldn't have, I've said it already, but I'm lost for too many words at this point, but you couldn't have wrote a script any better for Scotland tonight. And what a game of football, and just what a moment. And it'll be one that I'll remember for the rest of my days, and I'm sure those Scotland players will celebrate for the rest of the days. Even Andrew Robertson, someone who's won multiple Premier Leagues, a Champions League. I wouldn't be surprised if this ranks highest in his achievements because of how long Scotland have went without a World Cup and captaining the side to the tournament.
Yeah,
I don't know how old these guys go back.
Sorry,
I don't know how old these guys
go back. Sorry. We scored. Oh no, it's a rerun of the game. Sorry. I was getting to say Giglaf up Tierney scored again. And got a goal. By the way, see that McLean goal, right? I never saw that goal because I was actually jumping about the living room. He said, take it to the corner, and throw Grano, and they scored. Sorry. They get psychic there. Sorry, Graham. I don't know what you were saying there. I wasn't saying I wasn't listening to you, but I wasn't listening to you. I was watching the goals again.
No, I was just saying I don't know how half these players go back to their clubs. They'll all be steaming, because I would be.
Yeah, and they absolutely should be. Although I think one of the goal scorers, actually, Kieran Tierney, famously doesn't drink, so he'll be on the Ribenas with James Milner. After that one, but. No, but the rest of them should absolutely go out and enjoy themselves, and it absolutely fantastic. Tonight's not the night for maybe criticising individual performances either, because I think there maybe is a couple you could dig out a little bit if you're being overly negative, because that's my whole personality. I'm an overly negative person. But you know,
Rangers fan.
exactly. It's a depressing existence. So I'm negative by nature. No, but you know, tonight's not the night for that, and they should all go out and enjoy themselves. And you know, I just hope and I don't think that they should worry about club football for coming up for the weekend. You know, obviously they need to keep themselves healthy, but you know, go out and enjoy themselves for the next night or two, and then they can get back to it because they absolutely deserve it, and because they've given a whole nation something that they haven't had in 27 years. Not appeared at a World Cup. By the time they get to the World Cup, they won't have appeared at a World Cup in 28 years. So nearly 3 decades. You know, they deserve to enjoy themselves because they've given so many people a memory that will last forever.
Yeah,
Back on tap tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Alex, tell you guys can tell me if I'm speaking about I'm being too club biased, but I thought it was a great moment for you spoke about Kieran Tierney on the Ribena. I thought it was a great moment for him himself because he's obviously had so many lows recently with injuries. The last tournament we were at, he obviously got that bad injury that meant he was out for the last game, and a lot of people have doubted him this season, and maybe his performances haven't been up to his previous standards at Celtic. But what a moment for him amongst the players, and so many great stories written across the squad tonight. And I'm just glad again that we're there and we can celebrate. And I will personally be celebrating late into the night.
Yeah, no, that's a good point that you've made. We were talking about Craig Gordon before he came on, Ethan, about you know what a comeback he's made, but yeah, what a comeback for Kieran Tierney as well, because you thought that down in Arsenal he was very kind of injury prone as well, but he bounced back well, came back to Celtic. Okay, maybe not hitting heights right, but hopefully that goal will give him a boost for club and country tonight.
Yeah, and I think he's been a really good performer for Scotland as well. Obviously, recently he's been carrying injuries, he's not been playing club football as on a regular basis at Arsenal. But I think beforehand that partnership with him and Robertson and the back five when he bombed on as a left centre back was one that I always watched it thinking that he was maybe the better out of the two performers for Scotland between himself and Robertson, and an excellent moment for him playing at right back as well, which was strange. I thought at that point maybe Steve Clarke was going to go to a back three, but he just put Tierney on at right back. Obviously, Aaron Hickey's been struggling with fitness as well, and hopefully he can get back up and stay injury free, because that's the case for a few the Scotland boys at the moment. Hickey, Tierney, Ben Gannon-Dokes had a rough sort of history of injuries for such a young age, and hopefully all the players are fit and available, because it's a moment that they deserve and a moment that shouldn't be forgotten tonight, and they should get to relish the chance to play in the States, Canada or Mexico, wherever our games are played, and I'm hoping they get some dream ties, your Brazils, your Argentinas, your Frances, whoever you might like.
Bring them on, we'll beat them all. Scotland for the World Cup.
Well, how many games did Scotland lose in qualifying? 1. How many did Brazil lose in qualifying? 6. So you never know.
Do they not play in like a big league or something?
Yeah,
because there's not a lot of teams.
It's not comparable, but it was just a statistic that
right, okay.
I'm saying without context.
Alex, I know. I'm a bit like you. Maybe that's why me and you are best mates now. We're kind of negative as well. But let's be upbeat. But the only thing I would say about that is, do you think more Scotland fans will get behind Stevie Clarke now?
That's a tough one. I mean, I don't think you have a choice but to get behind him, because he's not going anywhere. So, you know, let it ride out for the World Cup. And however, you know, no matter what the result in the tournament is, I feel like this should be sort of the natural end to his tenure as Scotland manager. I feel like it's a good time to cap it off, no matter how Scotland do in the tournament. So yeah, but you have no choice but to get behind them now for the tournament, for the World Cup. However, I feel like after the World Cup, it should be his end. That sounded really like I wanted him to die there. It should be his end as Scotland manager.
Yeah. Well, it's what was it? It's 6 to 8 minutes going on the clock now. I can't remember when they made the subs, but anyway, Ethan's got to go because he's got to go to some kind of watering hole now. So we'll see you at the World Cup, Ethan.
Yeah, well, I've made a substitute appearance. I've come in, I've contributed, but I'm going to celebrate further now, and I think everyone should take time to celebrate this moment. Everyone should stay safe, the main thing, but enjoy the moment. And thank you very much for having me on.
You better be in uni tomorrow, by the way.
I'll be at uni tomorrow. Don't worry.
Be pulling a sticky.
I will not. I will be there. I will be there. But no, thank you very much. I've enjoyed both the pre-show and the post-show, and yeah, come on Scotland. I'll see you all later.
Ethan. Watch out for Ethan. He'll be coming to a pub near you very soon, in the next 2 minutes, I think. So shout all the pubs in Dumbarton. You have been warned. So as well, I mean, Alex Haggig say, can we not come? But he said no. So, we are staying in the house.
Hi. Well, it would be some commute for me to get to Dumbarton, but no, I've already had my drinks for the evening. My mates, me and my mates were in the pub this evening enjoying the match. I think a few of them shot off to the casino actually, but I'm not in the mood to lose any money. Once again, please gamble responsibly. Bit of a theme emerging on this post show, but Ethan, I'm sure Ethan will enjoy himself after a really really good night. I feel like I'm just repeating myself, but yeah, what a game! What a result for Scotland. Scott McTominay has scored one of the best goals I've ever seen in my life. It was just fantastic, and I mean, yeah, I don't know what else to say. I mean, maybe we should give a bit of credit to Denmark, especially even when they went down to 10 men, they equalised and they did look good. They had quality. They didn't really create many clear-cut chances, but they did create opportunities. They were dominant on the ball. They did play quite well. It's just for some reason Scotland had the magic dust this evening. Especially with some of the finishes. Like I've spoken about it a lot, but like that's not something you expect from Scotland games, is it? The quality of finishing that we saw this evening for three of the four goals. I mean, don't take anything away from Lawrence Shankland. A goal counts the same as his goal counts the same as Scott McTominay's, obviously. But the quality of finishing from Scotland tonight, everything just sort of fell into place, and they did. It was so un-Scotland like the victory. Because like I said earlier, you think when Denmark pull it back to one each, you're thinking, oh no. And then when Scotland go in front, you think, all right, okay, we need to hold on, even though we're down, even though we're a man up, we need to just keep the lead, maybe nick another. But then Denmark go to each, and you're thinking, oh no, we're not going to be able to get back. Denmark are having a lot of the ball, even though they're down to 10 men. Classic Scotland, we've done it again. And then Kieran Tierney pops up with an absolutely beautiful finish. And then obviously Kenny McLean in the 99th minute, by the way, 99th of +6. People in the pub, including myself, were shouting at the telly, blow the whistle. but fortunately the ref didn't blow the whistle, which led to
But
the Queen's goal.
See, when you think about it, Alex, like Denmark done us a favour. See if we didn't bring on that sub, it wouldn't have added more time on. So well done to Denmark.
Yeah, definitely. Well done to Denmark for giving us the extra time. It was all part of Steve Clarke's plan, from the very beginning. He knew how it would play out, the mastermind of Scotland's victory. I feel like I'm just waffling now, but yeah, and I'm just repeating myself from like points I've said earlier in the evening. What a fantastic night!
Yeah, no, what a fantastic night. Graham, I was going to ask you something there, but I've completely forgot about what I was going to say, but it doesn't matter now because obviously when we come on the post show, we talk about big moments in the game, but I said to Graham, Alex, that game plan basically went out the window at 2 minutes past 10. Let's just talk about the World Cup. And yeah, I know I was speaking to you today, Alex, and you said you lost your voice. I've kind of lost my voice as well, and I was on in the house jumping up and down as well, like a stupid wee boy. But who cares, Graham? We're going to America.
I know, it's fantastic, honestly. As I said, I didn't really, when it went 2-2 with a few minutes to go, I thought, oh no, we've blown it again, it's the playoff. And to get those 2 late goals was just so important. And what a finish for Kieran Tierney as well. We're talking about McTominay's goal, but that finish from Tierney is inch perfect. Schmeichel's got no chance. And then that goal from Ken McLean just wraps it up. I think we're all just saying, stick it in the corner, Flair, just stick it in the corner. But where is this extra time coming from? But what a finish. Hamden was going absolutely nuts. We're all going mental. As I said earlier, Scotland do not do things the easy way. If we find a hard way to do it, that's the way to do it. But to actually have qualified, to not have to go through the playoff, to actually be there, it's just the best feeling you could have as a Scotland fan. We're all just absolutely buzzing after that. It's just such a great night. And, those players deserve a lot of credit. Because I think as well at 2-2, you could hear the crowd getting a little bit agitated at the fact that we're passing it back against 10 men, but they kept having that belief to keep going forward and get that goal. And once Tierney scores that goal, it's brilliant. To be fair, Denmark were playing quite a lot and trying to kind of play for time, so I'm glad that it went against them. But it's a phenomenal night. Like, we were all hoping at the start of this we were going to go through. We all believe we could, but not quite like that. To win it 4-2 that way, you see the reaction after the game with Steve Clarke, everyone is just going absolutely crazy. You probably couldn't have had a better night than that. It's phenomenal. And the mood feels fantastic. Like, you look at the folk in the chat, the mood around the Scotland fans just through the roof. It's unbelievable.
Alex, as I said to you at the beginning of the campaign, we're going to have a chance to beat Denmark at home in the last game to qualify for the World Cup. I think you would be saying, like, I'm going to take you to the hospital, Michael.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, if you'd offered me it, I would have bit your hand off. And if you'd predicted it, I probably would have taken you to the hospital because I would have thought you were losing your marbles. But that's down to my pessimism again. But I think maybe I've just been beaten down over the years of supporting Scotland and Rangers. Imagine that depressing existence. No, but but yeah, when the good times come, it's you need to enjoy them, and I'm definitely going to enjoy it because I couldn't have predicted that. Even tonight, when I was sitting like 5 minutes before kick-off, when I was with my mates, they were like telling me to shut up because I was going, "Nah, we're going to lose." It's just classic Scotland. We're going to lose. I was bracing myself for the worst possible outcome because I didn't dare to hope, that we could do it. But yeah, that squad proved me wrong. Steve Clarke proved me wrong, and yeah, just I keep coming to this at the end of my points, lost for words. Scotland, we're going to travel over to USA, Canada, and Mexico, and hopefully have some interesting games, some glamour ties. I'm sure everyone will be setting their alarms for 3 a.m. or whatever to watch the games. It'll be great. Over the summer, everyone's sleep schedules will be messed up trying to watch Scotland games, and then I'm sure if people are up, Scotland are on, and then there's maybe a couple more games after. They'll be up to the early hours of the morning watching so many World Cup games. So yeah, it's going to be an exciting summer, and I'm really looking forward to it. And I don't know what the score will be on here, Michael. If we're going to be doing any like 3 a.m. shows to cover the Scotland games, I guess that's still to be seen. That should be interesting if we manage to hop on to cover them.
Yeah, no. By the way, in case you're interested, Wales won 7-2 tonight. So I think that's in fluke the playoffs as well. So well done to our Wales friends as well. But yeah, that would be nice, Alex, as well. I'll bring my sleeping bag, and if you bring like some sausages and stuff like that, or put on the barbie or whatever, and we'll get that sorted out as well. Yeah, I mean, Graham, it's just kind of like a brilliant night all round, and as I keep saying, I know I'm repeating myself a bit like Alex here, but I'm just kind of like lost for words. But this comment, Mark is on YouTube. Thanks for watching, Mark. By the way, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, do so. We're on the Scottish Football Zone, and subscribe to it because we've got a new show coming soon. I'll give you the details before the end of the show. And we are on every Friday and Sunday as well. Mark says, I don't remember even winning a group as a Scotland fan, and I'm 52, Graham.
Well, I'm not far behind him because I'm 47. So I'm not far behind him, and I can't remember that either. I mean, to be fair, at the start of the tournament, I did think Scotland could win it because I don't think it was the hardest of groups like Denmark, Belarus, and Greece. And as it kind of went on, you do think we've got a big chance here. So to win the group is just, it is a fantastic achievement. I mean, Denmark will be absolutely gutted that they've thrown it away because all they had to do was beat Belarus on Saturday and they threw it away and now they've lost again. So yeah, I never thought it was something we couldn't do. But to actually have done it in the way we've done it as well, that's what makes it even better. The way we've done it, to win it 4-2 like that with those 2 late goals. If you're going to do it, that's the best way to do it. I mean, you actually forget, I know that Alex hasn't, but you actually forget that early goal from McTominay because it was that long away. And you've actually got 2 other goals after that. It's just, I mean, what a night. These players are going to be absolutely buzzing. And I think it was maybe Alex or Ethan that mentioned it. These players are legends now. They're going to go down in history in Scotland. What an achievement for these guys to actually qualify for this tournament. And I don't think anything they do next year is going to better this. But again, when you get, you want to turn up and do something, but to get there is incredible. And do you know what? Even if games are at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, I'll be getting up. No problem. I want to watch Scotland World Cup because, come on, it doesn't happen ever. Let's be honest.
I mean, the thing is as well, Alex, like, I know what you were saying earlier on as well, like Scotland, that World Cup, yeah, brilliant and stuff like that. We can celebrate from now till doomsday, but yeah, when you're at the World Cup, you want to get out the group, and you want to progress as well, but it's basically, I've got a wee saying like, if you're at a kind of party, you want to be at the after show party as well, and Scotland wants to be at the after show party.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said earlier, we should enjoy the fact that we have qualified, but when you get down to it, you do want to, make a showing of yourself at the tournament. And I feel maybe this is a tad disrespectful to other nations, but I feel like the World Cup is a better opportunity to progress out the group than the Euros. because I feel like European competition is a more condensed part of, a more condensed sort of pool of better teams. I mean, I don't think, we might get karma for me saying this, and we might get the toughest group ever, but I don't think we will get as tough a group as we did at the Euros. And even the group at the Euros, I feel like we could have progressed through it in second place at least. So yeah, I feel like we will maybe get one or two nations that are not, you would not view as the footballing standard. Although Scotland certainly aren't the footballing standard either. I feel like we do have quality players that can show up in big moments, like we saw this evening. And yeah, I feel like the World Cup it's a good opportunity to progress out of a group stage for correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it'll be for the first time in Scotland's history that they've ever progressed out of a group in an international tournament. So I feel like this coming up would be a big opportunity for it, because it's obviously it's an extended tournament. There'll be teams in it that have qualified from parts of the globe that maybe you don't look at and go, that's the most condensed quality of footballing standards of footballers. So, and I might be being a bit disrespectful to other nations, but I feel like it is a really good chance for these guys to make history once again. Maybe I'm getting a bit ahead of myself, but I'm just riding the good feeling.
Well, I'll tell you what, Peter Andre's going to be gutted if Jordan's there and he's no.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, you've got me there, Graham. Let's get with Swift lines from that there. I can say a couple of comments from that, but I can't. But yeah, I mean, Graham Marks made a comment as well. 3 great goals for Scotland, and they were classics. But what I was going to say to you guys was, when have you ever saw Scotland scoring 3 goals in the one game? Because I've not saw it for ages.
Certainly not 3 goals like that anyway. I mean, they were those goals tonight, apart from obviously Shanklin's goal, but I think Adams would have put that wide. But I mean, 3 absolutely fantastic goals. What a way to win it. Seriously, you can't win a game better than that. As I said, if you're Denmark, you're going to be absolutely gutted. But all that matters is Scotland are through, and everyone's coming on the chat tonight just absolutely, they're all ecstatic, they're all buzzing, they're all excited. We just can't wait to get there now.
Paul Donaldson's in the chat. He says, "Evening all, I'm just back from the game. What a night." And Paul, you can let us know in the chat what the atmosphere was like. Obviously, it was loud in the telly, but it must have been doubly loud at Hampden Park. But tell us how the atmosphere was, and if you're going to the World Cup as well, that be brilliant. Keep your comments coming in. But here, we're here all night. No, we're not actually. We're here for the next 10 minutes or whatever before my voice kind of gives up. A lot of people will be dragging that actually. I know Alex is smiling there, so I don't know if he's smiling about my voice, or maybe the show's going to end very soon.
My voice is starting to go a little bit as well now. Actually, I felt I didn't know if I would make an appearance tonight because I've been sick for a bit and my voice hasn't been great. But I thought I'd pop on after the show. But I pop on after the game because I was feeling good after the game. Obviously the result, and also my voice was feeling all right. But now I think I've been on for just about an hour now, and I'm starting to feel my voice go a little bit as well now.
Yeah, no, exactly, Graham. And it was an amazing night as well. So, yeah, I mean, obviously we've not spoke about the game overall. Obviously, we don't need to because we're there. We had the World Cup, right? But the penalty, that was never a penalty, guys. That was just outside the box.
Yeah. When you go out,
I'm going to be the devil's advocate here. I think so Andy Robertson's foot was on the line, and the way the Denmark player's body was positioned, I think the top half of his body was actually in the box. So I think by the definition of like the laws of the game, that is a penalty. I think it's a really it's one of those those rules where you can look at it and go, when you put it down to like factual stuff, like when you're offside by like your armpit, you think it's a bit silly, but I think factually it was a penalty. I don't want to be that guy, but I think factually it was a penalty.
I thought it looked us at having watched it a couple of times, I thought it looked us at the box. And the thing is, you've defended so well for the majority of the game and then lose such a daft foul. I mean, it was definitely a foul, but I thought it looked us in the box. It's a great penalty. It was a very good penalty, but I thought, having looked at it a couple of times, it did look to me like it was outside the box. But it doesn't matter. Who cares? We've got World Cup. Who cares?
Yeah, no, definitely it doesn't matter. But that was more like great over the whole game. That it was getting a foul, but I wasn't inside the box. Alex, you can argue with me all night, but I don't care. We're going to the World Cup, mate. I mean, I'm in one of these kind of funny moods tonight because it's a Tuesday night as well. As well, but yeah, I mean, what a lift these players are going to get going back to their clubs, Graham, at the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be fantastic. I mean, as I kind of said, Lawrence Shanklin thought he'd done it. He thought he'd made history, and then two other players scored after him. But it's just an incredible occasion for all these players come back to their clubs. They'll be on a massive high. They'll all be absolutely buzzing. I think probably Andy Robertson's getting very relieved after that penalty. But it's one of these nights that you'll never forget. And these people that were at Hampden tonight, like Paul, it's one of these nights that will live in your memory for a long, long time. It's like, I was there when Scotland qualified for World Cup. What a night that would have been to be there. Watching it on telly, yes, it was fantastic, but being there would have been just sensational.
Yeah, no, but Alex Paul Donaldson says in the Skiggan, the McTominay goal was like Watson in slow motion.
Yeah, no, I felt a little bit like that on the TV in the pub, and you don't usually get that on the telly. It's usually, when you're in watching it live that the goals feel like that, but it did feel like that a little bit on the telly, sort of almost like it was slow motion. Excuse me, slow motion, and I think I've said this like 80 times tonight, but one of the best goals ever in the history of football. I'm calling it right now. In the history of football, in the entire history of football, one of the best goals ever. Scott McTominay take a bow. There's a reason he was on the Ballon d'Or list. There's a reason he was a Serie A MVP. There's a reason he led Napoli to a Scudetto, and now he's been a massive part of Scotland making it to a World Cup for the first time since 1998. So, yeah, he should certainly be enjoying himself this evening. And from a guy that, when he sort of made his break into the Scotland team and Manchester United team, for a long time was viewed as a defensive midfielder. I mean, how has this guy ever been viewed as a defense? He was playing centre back for Scotland for a period of time, I'm sure, in the back three. So I don't know how this guy's ever been viewed as a defensive anything. I mean, he can do it, but he's attacking. The stuff that he brings in the attacking third is, second to none. He's in sort of kind of that box crashing midfielder role. I love that phrase, but that's one of my favourite phrases in football, box crashing midfielder. But he's how he's ever viewed as a defensive anything baffles me, and he continues to prove that he's been underused and underutilised for the majority of his
I thought I was back at school with Graham. Leo says, where's a whiskey? And Mark on, Mikey on YouTube says, nah, Ian whiskey, mate. So there you go. So I think that's all about us because of I think I fall into the same category as Alex. My voice is a bit could go, but fair play to Alex, man of a match for coming on the show. As well, thanks for coming on the show, Alex. Just to tell you a quick one on Wednesday night. No, it's not. I can't take another night on this show. Not because I've got to speak to you guys. It's just because I've got to get my voice back and got to get back into earth. And Thursday night we've got Half Football World. It begins at 6:30 on the channel, and stay tuned for details. Or do tune into that one. We're hoping to do it once a month, focusing on women's football and, fun enough, Scottish football. So join us for that one on Thursday at 6:00. And we will be back on Friday to look at the Bournemouth Premiership.
It's gonna feel weird going back to, domestic football after this, isn't it? You're usually buzzing to get back to the domestic stuff, but it's gonna feel a bit of a come down going back to the regular domestic football.
Yeah.
When your team's top of the league, it does me.
All right, okay, mate.
Maybe that's a good time to finish, guys. Alex started that one, round one fight. So thanks for watching. Thanks for all your comments. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I know going about it bits of Scottish Football Zone. Like and subscribe and tell all your pals and skills to be trapped to subscribe as well. And we'll be back on Thursday night. Thanks to Graham, thanks to Alex, thanks to Ethan, thanks to who else was on the show? Alaska was on the show earlier on as well. So we will be back on Friday. To look forward to the big old Bournemouth Premiership of the weekend. And we'll see you in America.
A Scottish Football Zone special following Scotland in World Cup qualifying.